beyond medicine. There are so many needs that exist for those who are in a process of treatment for many, many different kinds of ailments. In the year 2016, cancer feels increasingly like a word that we need to put in the rearview mirror. That being said, while we are still living with this pernicious disease, there are so many needs beyond medicine. My first guest this evening is a fellow who is engaged in the full-time pursuit of providing for those needs of caregivers, of family members, of supporters of those who are undergoing treatments for cancer. We've got a big event coming up on the 4th of November, and I am excited to be a part of the CanSURVIVE Gallery Stroll, and I'm very much pleased and excited to welcome back to the program my friend and the founder of Needs Beyond Medicine, Philip Brown. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Always nice to see you.
As always.
Your smile always makes me feel better inside. How you been? It's been, as you said, it's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been good. Just busy and trying to get ready for this event and helping the patients out. So
yeah. If you would, and I know that you are a survivor as well, and we've talked about that on this program in the past. Talk about, before we'll do all of the logistics and the importance of this particular event, but if you would, talk a little bit first and foremost about how you're feeling about this work that you've been engaged in for a good while now. And I've been reflecting a lot on the fact that I still love to come here and do this thing, do this show. You can't do a hard job like you do without passion and inspiration. Talk about your passion and your inspiration in the year 2016.
Right. I think, this year was our 10th year.
So great.
In business. So it's, like you said, it's something you have to love to do and work hard and restless nights and long hours, but at the end of the day, it's something to at least be proud of and say, hey, we're helping these less fortunate people that are battling for their lives.
Absolutely.
Help with those other expenses that aren't medical related.
And the needs are they're so broad. Talk a little bit about your founding of the organization, about your experience to see the need for assistance for not only patients, but their families, their caregivers, and this very wide net of people who are affected by cancer.
Right, I think it's a big deal, obviously, because people don't understand how expensive it is to go through treatment until you're in that situation. And I mean, with last year alone, I believe it was about 50% of the people we helped in Utah were below poverty level.
Cancer does not discriminate.
Right. So it's anyone that unfortunately can be diagnosed with this disease. In a lot of cases, once they're diagnosed, they either have to stop working, cut back on their hours, or unfortunately just don't work anymore while they're going through treatment. So,
not to mention the fact that their families are rocked by this situation as well, because the caregivers, the family, the folks who care, who need to be there for support, also are facing life changes.
Right, because I think a lot of times it's a dual household income, so you lose one income, there goes their expenses and helping to at least get day-to-day situations done, and then the headaches of saying, okay, well, how am I going to get to treatment this week, or how am I going to help just get for groceries, because a lot of people do live in rural parts of Utah that have to travel to either Salt Lake or St. George for treatment 3 to possibly 5 times per week.
Which is, to say that it's a life-changing event for everybody involved doesn't even quite capture the change.
Right, to say the least, it's a huge thing, sadly enough, but the people that we've met and some of the people we've helped are in this photo gallery stroll this year. It's just a huge eye-opener to say, hey, such a little bit can go so long once you're in that situation.
I'm I'm curious, and for folks at home, it seems to me when I think about your organization and sort of the category of help that you get up every morning to provide could be literally anything and everything. Talk about kind of some of the big categories of ways in which you help folks, but also talk about some of the things that you never expected to participate in and ways in which your organization can help.
Right, so I think with this year especially, we broke down it's done through an application process, so we looked at previous years to see, okay, these are the highest amounts of requests that we've been asked for, so obviously transportation help, utilities, groceries, rent, and then any other personal supplies they might need. I think just as far as opening my eyes, I think it's just the whole aspect of how much more can I help, because we are getting so much asking and saying, hey, can you come into this state and help, or help in other areas, so that's something to look at. And then also just, I feel like my time's thin as it is, because I'm being asked to go and speak at conferences now and be a part of just more community events of saying, hey, what's Needs Beyond Medicine do, and how'd you get started? And I think the biggest thing that a lot of people are more in shock of is that we're our own nonprofit that helps cancer patients that are seeking treatment at any hospital. We're not aligned with one specific hospital.
And it occurs to me that you have some good problems in that this kind of change. I don't recall last year or the year before when you were here, you mentioning things like being invited to speak at conferences. Right. That's really cool. That's important public relations, it's important marketing, but it takes away from your time. By the same token, on some level, every charitable organization has an imperative to be as lean as possible as far as overhead goes. Of course, in the year 2016, you hear people talk about charitable organizations, and almost immediately there's the ancillary conversation of, well, what portion of the funds go, all those kinds of things to help the people that need the help the most. You by definition almost have to have as small of an organization as possible, but are you facing the need to grow the organization in order to be able to do all of these things and serve those marketing and public relations needs and opportunities that you have? You gonna get bigger, man?
Yeah, I say that at the start of every year. It's gonna happen, so we're definitely getting there, and I think getting in the right eyes and ears of people, and I'm hopeful this is another great event and can look at it and say, okay, are we going to be able to do it or not? So gotta do it, huh? You always have to step back and think about it, just with speaking with people or hearing the needs of other areas of states and either cities.
Right. The concept itself is valid everywhere.
Right.
No doubt. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, let's hone in on the event and get folks excited. Needs Beyond Medicine is the organization. Philip Brown is the founder. He is with me here. He will be back right after this. Please stay tuned.